Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this episode of In the Shade of Ramadan. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wassalamu ala khair al-mursaleen. Muhammad al-Nabi al-Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Inshallah, today in this episode we are going to be talking about lessons that we can derive from one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's most beautiful names. And this is His name, Al-Hadi, which means the Supreme Guide. Now we mention this name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we mention calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us every single day, in every single salah. At least 17 times a day we say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. And the month of Ramadan is a month where we increase our prayers, and thereby we are increasing our dua to have more and more guidance. There's a concept in Islam that a person can be guided, and yet others can be more guided than them. There are darajat, or degrees of guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَيَزِيدُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا هُدًى. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases those whom He guided with guidance. So it's possible to have more guidance than the guidance that we already have. And this is what we're seeking in this month. We're seeking that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides us to that which is the most pleasurable to Him, to that which would draw us closer to Him. SubhanAllah, sometimes we find it confusing. We're surrounded by so many different understandings or ideas, and yet we have to always go back to Him and ask Him for guidance, and the guidance that would draw us closer and closer to Him, the closest position that we could possibly have with Him. And the scholars have mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided us in 4 different ways. One of the ways is His general guidance. The general guidance is referred to for example, how the animals are guided to hunt certain things, how human beings are guided to clothe themselves. And these are forms of general guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us and has blessed us with. The second form of guidance is through His revelation, His wahi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would send direct words to us, guiding us to that which is best. And for us, this is the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran,
إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم ويبشر المؤمنين.
So the Quran as a form of guidance. The third one is guidance to success, which is Hidayatul Tawfiq. And this is a form of guidance where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bless some of His slaves with extreme success in their pursuits. We notice this with some of the scholars. SubhanAllah, though we have thousands of scholars in Islamic history, there are some which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed with extreme success in their pursuits and their efforts, and their names are known in whichever land you travel to. And the fourth and the last form of guidance is the guidance to Jannah itself. And the people of Jannah will say that were it not for the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would not have been able to enter Jannah. And this is inshallah what we are all seeking, the guidance to Jannah itself. And there are means to guidance as well. Just as there are forms of guidance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided us with means. And the first means that He has given us is our fitrah. Every human being is created with certain questions. Why am I here? What am I doing here? Where am I going? Where will all of this end? What happens after I die? And these are the questions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts in the uncorrupted soul. The second is again through the revelation itself. So the revelation is a type of guidance, but it's also a means of guidance. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He guides us to that which is best. But also when we listen to the Quran purifies our hearts and helps us to become of those who can receive the guidance of Allah. So it has guidance in 2 ways, both in its impact and in its words. The third form or means of guidance is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans for us specific experiences and some people in our lives that would guide us. And what we would do in response to this is try to always put ourselves in situations and environments where we can be around those people and those experiences which would increase us in guidance. In this month of Ramadan, what you would want to do is plan to be in those Qiyamul Layl programs, be around those people that you feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would help use them as a tool for your guidance. And all of these means, one of the ways that a person can reach the fruits of guidance is through reflection. So reflect on your soul, purify your heart and from all of its different diseases. And this is one of the ways in which your fitrah can guide you to that which is best. Reflect on the Quran. So don't just read Quran in Ramadan to get the ajza finished, to read, the whole thing, but also read it as a manual for guidance. How can you better the way that you live in terms of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And the third one, also the experiences that you have. Nothing happened without a reason. Everything that has happened is best. These are reasons for us to reflect. So think about your experiences that were planned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, as a means of guidance. Learn lessons from them. And the last thing that we can do in terms of increasing our guidance is to make dua. Sometimes we're confused between different choices we have. This deen, alhamdulillah, has given us an answer, and that is Salatul Istikhara. But also to make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases our guidance regularly, and also that He makes us of those who guides. To make us from those people who guide to the way of Allah. There's a dua the Prophet ﷺ taught us. Allahumma hdina wahdi bina. Oh Allah, guide us and guide others through us. And subhanAllah, when you guide others to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases the guidance upon you as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to His pleasure and guide us to the best guidance and help us be tools for His guidance. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.